Welcome to Trash Talk.
Hey y'all, welcome to Trash Talk. I'm here with Dan Waineo from JADE.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk about what JADE Biogas Engineering actually does.
Yeah, my name is Dan Waineo. I've been in the biogas space for over 30 years doing engineering. I've been working as a consultant many years for Interdyne, and I joined Interdyne a few years ago. So we started up JADE Biogas, so we're excited to be here.
Could you provide us a general kind of overview of the work that JADE does?
So we're a small engineering group, and we don't get pigeonholed too much. So biogas projects are very complicated. If you actually hire engineers who are specialized in every aspect of a biogas project, it gets really expensive because you end up with 30 engineers. So we have learned to diversify into mechanical controls, process engineering, civil engineering. All of our engineers really like to learn things, so they end up learning a lot about a lot of areas of engineering in order to make these biogas projects economical, right? Because they're like full-size industrial gas plants, except they're much smaller and you have to be much more efficient in order to be profitable in the space. So we started JADE Biogas with really myself and Aaron Parker and Josh Holcomb, and that's what JADE really stands for, is Josh, Aaron, Dan Engineering. But yeah, we are excited to be part of the Landfill group of companies, and we've had a great time so far over the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm. So. You talked about having like 30 engineers versus kind of like, it sounds like now you're about 4 too, because you have an additional engineer on.
We do, and there's a number of other engineers throughout the Landfill group we also work with and use. So we have quite a bit of engineering expertise overall, right? But yeah, the JADE group is 4 right now.
And does that seem to help? Like, it sounds like when you said like 30 engineers on a different project, that sounds like a lot of it cooks in the kitchen almost.
Right. It's much more efficient this way. Your engineers really have to want to learn lots of skills because they wear a lot of hats. So it's not really for everybody, but people who are very, very curious and are not willing to just not know about an area of a biogas project. Those are the type of engineers we like, or the ones who are just insatiably curious and want to work on lots and lots of different things.
Yeah.
So,
what are some specific services that JADE offers to the third parties specifically?
the main one is we'll just do plant engineering, right? So we'll be engineers of record for building whatever, a $50 million biogas plant. So the one engineer that you really count on to make sure everything works, all the equipment meets specifications, and it can actually produce gas. So we'll do that, but then we do a lot of other roles that are under that. So we'll do control system design, PLC panel design, we'll do PLC programming, we'll do SCADA programming and SCADA system design, we'll do the mechanical design, we'll do process skid design, we'll do civil design, process engineering, we'll do heat and mass balances. We'll do most all the things that are involved with having a biogas plant. We do all those things.
And there was that recent one you did for a county kind of on the West Coast.
Yes, we did an evaluation for Cedar Hills, which is a very large, like 10,000 SCFM plant, so one of the biggest in the country. So that was a very fun project working on that and seeing all their equipment and talking to all their people. We did an evaluation of their system. So that was fun, and all the engineers were involved, and it was very close to us because we're up in the Northwest, so it was a convenient project to work on.
Yeah. How about you walk us through the typical steps of taking a biogas project from idea to operation?
I think the biggest question is just how much gas there is. So that's really open to interpretation, and there's lots of companies that do gas curves. There's EPA gas curves, but it's very critical to pick an appropriate size plant for the amount of gas that you have. You don't really want to way overbuild it with some unrealistic gas curve, because that's really the number one way that people go out of business in this space, is expecting too much gas. So that's the biggest thing, is just to evaluate how much gas you have. And then the second thing is what is in the gas that you have, because different landfills have different amounts of contaminants, and it costs more money if you have more contamination in the gas, right? So you have to design your system for that contamination. And then the next critical piece is what are the requirements for the pipeline that you're injecting into. There's a wide variety of requirements, and the expense and the complexity of your plant really depends on how much treatment is required to get into that pipeline and what pressure that pipeline's at. So those are the critical things, or what do you start with, how much, and then what's the goal?
Mm-hmm.
After that, you design your equipment to accommodate that goal.
I'm going back a little bit, but you mentioned gas curve. I don't think I've heard that term before yet, like before today.
Yeah, I could talk about gas curves forever. We've been working on them forever. But if you have a pound of trash and you put it in the ground, then there's bacteria that are going to break that trash down. If you have that pound of trash and you put it out in the air, different bacteria will break it down. Mm-hmm. So there's aerobic bacteria, which use oxygen and eat trash. There's anaerobic bacteria, which eat trash without oxygen, and they're the ones that make the methane and the carbon dioxide from landfills. So if you bury the trash, the oxygen stays out, and you make methane, which is a desirable compound. A pound of trash has a yield, meaning like if I let that pound of trash, just the bacteria eat that trash forever, right? Over 100 years, like how much methane am I going to make?
Okay.
So that's a key thing, because certain trash makes a lot of methane and certain trash makes very little. Like if I have a block of concrete, it's probably not going to make very much, right? But if I have a pound of food, that's going to make a lot of methane. It's just a better fuel source for the bacteria. So that's really key, is just how much methane you're going to make out of a pound of trash. And then the other key is how long does it take to make that methane? The curves are exponential decay curves, meaning they kind of start high and then they drop and then they just really extend out for, 100 years.
Right.
So most of all, the methane is made over the first 5 years or so, and then it just trickles out. So basically, every day you put a pound of trash in, and you can model that day's trash, right? And then if you keep adding those curves up, you kind of get a bell curve generally,
right?
Is what the curve looks like. And the peak of the curve is generally the last year that you accept refuse.
Okay.
And then it starts to decay after that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd never heard of gas curves until, I don't know, I've been working around landfill for like 5 years-ish, but never heard that one.
They're very important. So
Sounds
getting
like
it right is very key in order not to go out of business, right? To have a really good idea of what this landfill can realistically generate.
Right. So that's why you take into account to like what is potentially coming into the landfill, because it's like,
yeah, and what type of trash it is. Is it C&D? Is it municipal solid waste, right? Is it hazardous? Like all this stuff really affects what your plant looks like, or even if you can have a plant, if it will support this project. Right.
So who are your main customers or your target audience? Like who are you guys looking to work with?
Well, we really like to work with developers like Landfill Group. So that's our number one target, is just people who have gas rights or who own landfills who want to build plants. So that might be, landfill owners often will self-develop, or developers will contract with landfills and develop, but either one of those groups would be target audiences. EPCs might need engineering help or, equipment. So just landfill owners and people with gas rights are generally the target audience.
How do you determine if a site has a strong potential for an RNG plant?
The key one is, does it have enough trash? Meaning, does it make enough gas, right? So you have to have enough gas to make it worthwhile. Another key issue is, is there a pipeline nearby, and how far away is the pipeline? Because that would really dictate the cost of the project. So that's pretty important too. Yeah. And then, you need electricity in order to run all of this. So you need an electrical supply that's close by, an air district that will let you do what you need to do to treat the gas, because there's flares and things that are associated with the project. There's lots of things that make it more desirable or less desirable, but those are the main drivers.
Yeah. What kind of partnerships make biogas projects successful?
You have to have a lot of trust. So that's number one. Like, they have to trust me. I have to trust them that, we're both after the same goal, right? And no one's trying to take advantage of each other. So we're in partnerships, and we want to be in partnerships with people that we like and people we trust. So that is by far the number one criteria for landfill gas project for me. So I'm not really interested in working with people I don't trust. And then, I think the economics of the project are important too, right? So if you're going to have a little landfill that makes 100 SCFM, you're just never going to make it successful. It doesn't matter who your partners are or
Right.
who the people are or where the pipeline is. It's just, not economically viable. So.
Right. Is that just like also in terms of like making the plant and then like trying to run it? It's just like you're not going to get bang for your buck type of thing?
Yeah, the dollars are just never going to pay for all that
Right.
equipment you put in.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
What's one of the most challenging engineering problems your team has solved?
The Click-a-Tap PUD project was definitely the one, just because no one had ever done a cryogenic NRU, which is a process to remove nitrogen from landfill gas. Mm-hmm. So you have to chill it down to negative 300 degrees, and you liquefy nitrogen and methane, and then you heat it up a little bit, and the nitrogen comes off of the methane. So it's like a distillation process for liquid methane and liquid nitrogen. And nobody had done that before. Nobody really thought it was even possible at the time we did it. So it was a very stressful project because it's a small county and they had a lot riding on it. So I personally felt very responsible for making this project successful. It was just a lot of work because we had a similar small engineering group with 4 people who were really heading up all this effort. And it was a 8,000 SCFM plant, which is fairly large for a landfill gas plant, one of the largest in the country. It's been wildly successful, but it probably took 5 years off my life. So it was a very stressful project, but I learned a lot. It was very rewarding, but it was a difficult project for sure.
Yeah. Well, that must feel good though. Still, like even though it was so tough, it's like nice to see the fruition of it. Like actually.
Yes, and it's very successful and it changed a lot of lives in the county.
Oh, good.
It was a rural county without a lot of money, and it really made a lot of difference for all those people that live there. So it was very rewarding.
Describe some of the advantages of using JADE Engineering for customers.
We have just a lot of ownership. So we're not the type of consultants that want to just write reports and bill a lot of hours. So we're really interested in making projects and making clients money. So we really are interested in overall results. So we don't find a lot of personal validation from generating a lot of reports about things. We really want to see equipment go in the ground, gas get treated, and the clients make money. So just the fact we're focused on that and not really just billing hours makes us desirable, I think, for third parties.
Yeah.
So
how do you approach balancing cost, efficiency, and sustainability in a plant design?
So sustainability is very close to cost because sustainability is really about energy efficiency. Mm-hmm. I guess the number one cost for these plants is electricity. So actually reducing the amount of electricity required to operate the plant is pretty important to make the plants efficient. Mm-hmm. So we'll do a lot of things like use heat from compressor oil in our processes. We'll try to use any waste heat we have as far as making the processes more efficient. We won't let any heat go to waste that we can help. We'll do a lot of evaluations of cost effectiveness of things, like 3-stage membranes are more efficient, but they require a lot more electricity to operate them. So we'll have trade-offs and do some evaluation on how to make the plant as efficient as possible, which means as sustainable as possible.
Right. I feel like it's always probably just like trying to figure like a balancing, like one of those balance beam things where it's like, okay, we could do this, but it's going to do this.
Yes, that's right. Pluses and minuses.
Right.
Yep,
yeah.
That's right.
How do you support your clients during construction and commissioning?
Yeah, a lot of that's up to the clients, but we'll do construction observation. So we'll make sure the construction is up to code and up to the design standards of the plans. We'll provide that service. We'll also do startup services. So we'll check all the equipment out in the field, make sure it's reading correctly, range correctly, and then we can program all the PLCs and we can program SCADA systems and start up the plant safely. Mm-hmm. So we can support the client, all the way through the whole process.
Nice.
So.
And are you guys usually open to like clients even coming to you afterwards when like the plant's up and running or anything if they ran into an issue?
Oh yeah. I mean, I always laugh when people call me because they only call me with problems. So, but I'm expecting, to support clients for, the next 20 years, right? So if they have a problem, I'm always available to go help solve it. So I enjoy keeping tabs on projects and continuing to help them be successful.
Yeah.
And I really do like troubleshooting, so I enjoy that a lot because the plants are very complicated. So I've gotten pretty good at it over time. So.
Yeah.
And troubleshooting is an interesting thing because they're very complicated plants. So you can easily have a red herring, which you think is the problem. And a lot of people have trouble letting go of that, where the problem's actually over here. I'm pretty good at staying open to other possibilities, which is, I think, the number one criteria you need as a troubleshooter. So.
Yeah. So what do you consider are some of JADE's greatest strengths?
Our engineers are really strong and they're just very curious, and they attack a lot of areas that were outside of their original area of expertise. So they definitely have growth mindsets, and they're willing to tackle new problems and fix things that other people have not been able to fix, right? And learn new things. So I'd say just the very diverse skill set of our engineers is what I'm most proud of.
Are there any emerging technologies that you're excited about coming up in the biogas space?
Yeah, so one technology that's been looked at quite a bit, and I'm not sure where it's going to end up, is just hydrogen. So there's lots of talk about making hydrogen kind of the new renewable fuel, running cars off of it, putting hydrogen in pipelines. I mean, the main benefit of it is it has emissionless use. So you can use it in fuel cells, make electricity directly off of it, and only emit water vapor. So that's kind of a technology that, may or may not go somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but I'd say that's kind of the biggest one. So
For sure. And I think for my final question would probably just be where do you see JADE going? Is there any big next projects that you're kind of excited or want to talk about?
I never know what's going to happen in a few years, but we have a number of projects that we are excited about, continuing improvement in design. So a lot of what we're excited about is probably not, huge, but there are ways to make the plant more efficient or make our engineering more efficient. So we're just excited about little process improvements mostly. So yeah.
But yeah, a little win is still a win, I think.
Yes,
and that just
that's
proves
right.
your dedication to your clients of their projects of we're still looking for those little inefficiencies that we can correct.
And we never think, there's not room for improvement. We don't ever think we have it perfectly dialed. I think there's always places to improve. So we're always looking to improve things.
For sure.
In our processes and in the biogas processes.
Yeah. Awesome.